Welcome everyone to the live stream. It has been a minute since we've done one. I think we missed October on doing a live stream. We are streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. For those of you who are connecting up, welcome to the live stream. If you have any questions or comments as we're going through, please put them in the comments area in whatever platform you're using, and we will do our best to try to answer those questions. Today we've got my co-pilot Jared is with me, and we're going to spend a little bit of time showing you how to enhance your activity management. Some people call it time management. We call it activity management because we're all dealing with activities. How you doing, Jared? You're on mute, buddy.
Whoops. There we go. I
Whoops.
can tell it's been like a little bit since we've done this. And yeah, I'm doing good. It's Friday and Friday is good. And yeah, I'm happy to be doing a live stream. So it's good to be
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, me too. And a funny thing, we had plus. Now we're in Canada, so plus 22 degrees Celsius yesterday. And guess what? This morning it's at 2 degrees, as you can see in the corner, and it's snowing. Welcome to
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah.
We've had a
Sad day. Yeah, buddy.
long, nice fall and beginning of winter, but now
Mhm.
it's we're starting to get the white stuff. I was going to say white crap, white stuff.
Well, geez, that's not very professional
I
there,
know
Gary.
it's not. I know.
Just playing.
I hate driving in this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, driving's the hard part. It's pretty for like a couple weeks and then you're
Yeah.
sick of it. Oh, that's me anyway.
My
So
choice is, snow just a couple days before Christmas. So we got the white,
yes,
stay until after Christmas and maybe New Year's and then get rid of it. But
I
that's not
totally
always the
agree.
case.
Totally agree.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about activity management in ACT. We're going to be showing you some tips and tricks. We're going to be showing you a bunch of little things that you may not know. And this has come to fruition because we've had a lot of people wanting to know how to delegate activities and track delegated activities and that sort of stuff. So if you're the person that is scheduling for other people, or you're just trying to manage your own calendar. A lot of people will use the Outlook calendar, and I just want to discuss this as Jared and I have talked about this before, how the Outlook calendar is what we call a free form calendar. And so, what I mean by that is you just drag off some time, you block it off, you have your meeting or your call or whatever the activity type is, and then you carry on. You don't actually clear the activity, it doesn't create a history under the contacts record. So, it's not the best way to do it. And some of the reasons people will use the online or the Outlook calendar is because they can have it on their phone and they can it's just convenient. Well,
Mhm.
you can have it on your phone with Act as well. There's the Act mobile app for
Mhm.
your cell phone, whether it's the Android or the iPhone. It doesn't really matter. So there's no excuse unless you're in a big organization. And this is the caveat to where I would say, yeah, go ahead and use Outlook for those who are wanting to use Outlook. Anybody using Act should use the Act calendar. Anybody outside in the organization that's not using Act, use Outlook. And then what you do is with the Act users, synchronize your calendar to Outlook. That way, all the people in your office that aren't using Act, they will see what your calendar is. They'll be able to book appointments for you, and that will come back into Act. But because you're using Act, what happens is when you create an activity in Act, it's linking to a person in your database. And then and that leaves what we call an open activity. And then when you clear the activity, it creates a history saying this activity is done. So now you have some kind of tracking mechanism to say, hey, I had some calls booked. I actually had the calls, and here's the results of calls. And so the flow and function of that is more conducive to being on track of what's going on and not allowing things to slip through the cracks. So that's kind of the reason we kind of uh, promote, if you will, using the ACT calendar. Now, some people have said in the past, and this has changed over the last little while, well, the ACT calendar looks really old. Well, it did. They actually developed the original one back in 2005, and yes, it did look from an aesthetics viewpoint it did look a little nasty.
Yep.
They've since changed it, and anybody that gets any of our products will get some of those changes. We've enhanced the calendar. We even have a thing called DayManager, which enhances the look of it and makes it look more modern and has a ton more functions than the native act. And we'll show you a little bit of that as we're going through today. So, any questions at this point, Jared, before we start?
Yeah, no questions in the chat, and yeah, I think that's important because a lot of times, I don't know about you, Gary, but sometimes you have such a busy day, and you're like, "Did I do that? Did I do that in my calendar? Do I have a record of that?" And with Act, then you can clear it and say that you did it, or if you were like, "I had a call, but really I left a voice message." All those different things that you can see what you did in a very busy week, and that way you're not missing things and things aren't getting dropped. And with
Yeah,
the Outlook calendar, things get dropped when you don't have any sort of record or history or other things that's linking to a person or contact about what was done. So
yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah, one of the things that I've dealt with over my tenure in sales and CRM and all that good stuff is the biggest challenge people have. There's two areas in any sales centric organization, or at least has a sales process or people in the organization. There are two things: opportunity management. So that's managing potential business. And the other one is activity management. How are they managing their day to day activities? And, and it is an analytical tool. And a lot of salespeople are more a creative brain, or lean over to the right brain creative side, not the left brain logical. And so it's not that they can't do it. It's just sometimes for some people, it's a little harder to use an analytical tool. However, if you want to get on top of things and keep things on track, um, managing your calendar and what things you've got going on, and so things don't slip through the cracks, it's worth your time and effort to spend on that. So, without further ado, let's jump over to our database. So we're using a demo database here, and this is template here is called the sales rep. Some of you are using this. If you're a financial advisor using the advisor, it'll be very similar. Um, and One of the things this is the desktop version. I will jump into the web version of this and just show you some brief stuff for those who are using the web version or are using both the desktop and the web version. We've got people are doing both now for when they're working from home or what have you. And so we'll work on showing you both. So we're on Todd Miller's record. I'm just going to go to the calendar here. We'll start off that, and I'm going to show you basic calendar input, how to create a calendar item, and then kind of move from there and show you all the nuances. Now, before I do that, underneath the contact record, you can view activities, and an activity in Act is um, it can be shown in multiple locations. So it's not like in Outlook where you have tasks and calendar items. You have activities that can be shown in a task list, in a calendar, and onto the contacts record. Like here, you can see all the because of demo database, we still have a lot of stuff open back in 2003. But you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here that you can filter through and see what was done, what wasn't done, that sort of stuff underneath the contact record. I find that most people don't look at the activities here. However, you do have access to it if you require that for that specific individual. So let's just pop over to the calendar and the lay of the land. Now, this is a new updated calendar. It's very close to the native Act one. This is Day Manager. If you get the advisor or the sales rep, you will have a modified version of the native Act one, which is just a little bit cleaner and easier to use. Like the status bar in the native Act, if it's green, then the background is green. If it's red, the background is red. So whatever color you choose for the status bar, and the status bar is the priority. Is this high, medium, low, those sorts of things. And we didn't like that. We wanted to be able to have a different color for the activity type as well, and use the status bar as a means to know what is the priority for this particular activity. So, for an example, you can see red, blue, and green in here right now. Um, and so, just to kind of go through at the top, you've got, I recommend you've got today, you've got today, day, work week, week, and month view. So you've got all these different views that you can look at and be able to sift back and forth from. I like the work week because, when I was training salespeople a lot of years ago, it was important to focus on just that week, not just the whole month, but on that week and what am I going to accomplish and do within that particular week, and be able to fill up as much as possible all the things that I need to accomplish. And then you've got across the top here, you've got different types, priorities, select users, show cleared. There's some extra ones in here like user tab. Like for an example, right now, yours would be like this, where there's no user tabs. In the day manager, it allows you to use user tabs. So I can click over to Jared or Tanya and see their calendars and then pop back to mine, or I can use all of them as well. We also have in Day Manager a little custom thing where you can actually show things a little different. Activity colors, you can choose the colors, color by scheduled user, and by activity type. You even have, for those who are visually challenged, you can zoom in and zoom out and set your calendar up to view the way you want to use it. And so these are just a few things that you can use in the day manager. So let's get into now. I just want to show a few more configuration things before we dive into actually creating activities. First of all, on your right, you can see I've got two calendars up here on the list. If you want to, by default, it has one. Now, this does for some people, it slows it down a bit if you go to multiple calendars. I don't. I've got a pretty powerful machine, so I don't have that issue. But if you do, you can just pull it out, and you'll get multiple calendars. And to get it back, just get the double line, move it back, and you'll get a single calendar. And then if you want to pull it back to get a double calendar again instead of three, yeah, I have to do this a few times to get the right width about there. Yeah, there we go. And so you can adjust that. The other thing you want to do is go into tools and under preferences. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time because we do have a video on this, but you can go into calendar and activity types and you can set some presets for yourself. So under calendar preferences, you can choose the days of the week, your time, your work start time, end time, what your increments are going to be. And I'm not going to spend any time on this, but you can go and adjust that. The other one is the defaults for each activity type. So each activity type can have different settings for priority, ring alarm, duration. You can have pop ups, all sorts of different things in here. And I would suggest play around a little bit. And if you're not sure, we do have a video on setting this up as well. So just so you know, again, that's under tools preferences and then over here to calendar and activities. All right. Now, there's two ways of creating an activity. Go to the contacts record. I'm on Todd Miller's record right now. If you go over here, you can see I'm on Todd's record. And then go to the calendar and book an appointment. And what that does, let's say today is Friday the 14th. I'm just going to go into the afternoon here, pop it up. So it's by default, it's going to pull up meeting. When you drag off a time, it's going to pull up meeting. It'll do the start date, start time based on what you've drug off on the screen. It'll show the 30 minutes. It's going to attach automatically to Todd Miller. Now, mine's going to look different than yours. You can see mine is has a little separate item here for Todd Miller. And yours will have Todd Miller right in this box here. Now, the reason I've got this set up this way, this is part of Day Manager, and the reason I've got this set up this way is because if I was going to search for somebody else like Rundle, I can just start typing and it will list the people in here. And I thought that that was way more functional than having to click over here, select contacts, and then go and find the contacts and get them over on the right hand side. It was too many steps. to do that, and I'd have to click in here, and I'd have to type for each person. And me being the lazy person that I am, I had Matt program something a lot quicker so that we could get through this quicker and easier. And I'm assuming you're probably in the same boat as me. Is if I can do things quicker, faster, I just get more things done. So I look for that. So in the day manager, we've got this. I can just type in a person's name, and it will start listing them here. Choose the one I want. So if it was Tom Rundle, yes, add him in. And so now I've got Todd Rundle and Todd Miller, or Tom Rundle. So just so you can see how that works. Now here's the basics. When you're going to create an activity, you're either going to go onto the person's record, but if you're not on the person's record, the one that you want to schedule an appointment with, just go in and drag off the time you want. And let's say it automatically goes to Todd Miller. You can just blow that away. In mine, I can just press the X button and delete it off there. Yours, you would just highlight it and delete it. And then go and find the other person. So for me, I'm going to go find Smith. And I got a lot of Smiths here. So I'm going to do Danny Smith, and it's going to link to Danny Smith. So I don't have to do that. In yours, you'll probably have to go and do it this way, where you'd go over to select contacts and then go and look for Smith and then scroll down. So you can see this is much faster with the day manager in there. And the day manager isn't that expensive. And if you'd like to get some information on that, you can just let me know and I'd be happy to help you out, set you up with a month or two demo, and you can play around with it. But then what you'd have to do is when you'd say, "Oh, I want Fred Smith," you'd have to double click and go back. But I'm just going to cancel that out. So we've got Danny Smith here. So the big thing is what is the time range? It automatically fills in whatever person you're on. So my habit was always go to the contact record, then create the activity. But since we've added this little thing in Day Manager, I can be on anything and go and hunt for it, and it's a lot faster. Then what's it regarding? So you have a drop down menu here based on the activity type. This drop down information will be different. So if I'm actually doing a call, these drop down items will be different, and I can go and edit these items and add and remove stuff out of there to make it fit my specific business model. And these are global settings. So whatever you have in here, everybody has access to. They're not personal settings, so just to be aware of that. And then I can just free type, and I'm just going to put in here test 1, 2, 3. And then the next thing you want to ask yourself is what is the priority, low, medium, high? And you can adjust those two in the background. I won't get into that now. And then what is the ring alarm time? So depending upon the type of activity you have, you may have a preset setting that says, "Hey, I want this 15 minutes ahead of time so I can prepare for the meeting." But you can manually change that too. Now, I'm not going to go into the schedule for yet. We're pretending we're scheduling this for me, and then the other thing is maybe details. And details, you can type whatever you want. You can put a bullets in here. You can type a list. This is more or less what you're going to want to. Maybe this is your agenda for the item or for the activity. And I'm just going to put in here test 1, 2, 3. So that's the basics. What activity type is it? Call, meeting, to do. And then I've got a bunch of other ones in here as well. And then you're going to want to make sure that it's for the person you want. What is it regarding? And then you've got the time alarm if you want this to alarm you. And then press OK. And then you have it on your calendar ready to go. Now, I'm going to up the ante now, and I'm going to add a few more things to this. And I'm going to go to the following week or the next week ahead of time. Now, you're going to see a few things that are different in there. Actually, what I'll do instead of doing that yet, I'll continue to work with Danny here. And oh, here's the other thing too. You'll see this demarc line that goes across your screen showing you what time it is too, so you can kind of get a idea. The old Act calendar, and I don't even think the new one, the new Act calendar, the native one, has this little line. Maybe it does. It's been a while since I looked at it. Um, But it was always like, okay, I want to have a meeting at 1 o'clock on Friday, and I had to move my mouse across to look at it. Well, in Day Manager, we highlighted the lines to be a little darker, and then we ended up having this line that goes right across the screen and shows you what time it is actually is, so you can get a kind of a point of reference. So I'm going to just click on Danny again. We're going to start adding a few things to what we've got here. Now you'll see on mine, I'm running a beta system right now. And so I've got a few things that you don't have. Like I've got this status field. We actually replaced the status field. It used to be, or replaced the location field with the status field. This was just for testing. What you'll have if you go with the day manager, what it will have is a status field and a location field in here. We're just in the process of modifying this, but I wanted to kind of show you that. But from the native act, the other things that you can do in here is so in the details, again, you've got all of this information here, and I'm going to show you some enhancements based on Day Manager that makes your life a little bit easier, is the resources. And so if I was going to have somebody else in my office join the meeting, I may want to go in and do, or sorry, not resources availability there, reoccurrence. So if this was something like we're going to have a Monday morning meeting at 8 a.m., I could actually go in here and say, okay, this is a weekly meeting. It's going to be on Monday at whatever time, or it's going to be Monday and Wednesday, or whatever it is you want. And these you can set up a private activity as well by clicking on where's the private activity. Send in. There it is. I had to look for it. It's been a while. There's the private checkbox there, and this could be a private activity that's only for yourself. So any personal activities, by all means, unless there's a standard operating procedure in your office that says, hey, don't put any personal activities in there. Use the personal one because then you're using it and getting your activities in there. And then especially if you're going to be using the Act Mobile to be able to capture your calendar items, you'll be able to go out, be out and about, and be able to see all of your activity types, both personal and business. And what this does is it actually hides it from anybody else. It doesn't hide the activity, it just says private activity, but it doesn't give the details of what you have in regarding or in the details. No one will see what it's about. They'll just see that the time's blocked off. So if you had a doctor's appointment, you could block off that time, and away you go. All right. Um, so reoccurring, you can set this up like you've got a martial arts class that's every week, or a hockey class or a hockey game that you play every week, or a training camp that you're going to, or whatever it is. You can set reoccurring activities. Now, one of the things people will do is they'll put someone's birthday in there, and then they will do a reoccurring activity for that person. So what they'll do is they'll go yearly, and they'll do an activity for a birthday. Don't recommend that. You can do it if you're not going to use any of our CoreLogic's add-ons, like Day Manager, for example. The one you can see over here. Let me just cancel this for a sec here. When I'm on the contacts record, you'll see I've got this little navigation bar on the right-hand side is called ActView Plus, and it's really inexpensive, and it gives you some great details. And what comes with this is alarms or alerts. And what it'll do is it will alert you when someone's birthday's coming up. As you can see, Cindy Black is today. It's 18th today? No, it's coming up. Sorry. And it's actually it just tells you, how many days in advance. So birthday 7 days in advance, alarm me. And so this will pop up every day saying, hey, you've got someone's birthday coming up on the 18th. So I recommend this because we've really researched best ways of handling birthdays or events, any kind of calendar items in your database. And this is a lot better than doing a reoccurring activity in your system, because you're constantly going to be clearing these activities, and it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So go back into here. So that's reoccurring. You've got, and this is pretty much for any calendar activity program that you may have used in the past or are using now. All of them usually have some sort of reoccurring activity type, and this is no different. The other thing it has is availability. And this is where you can go user resources, and I can say, oh, I want to invite Jared to this meeting as well. Pull him up, and I can see that he's free as well. And then when I go to my general settings, it will add Jared in here as well when I press OK. But his availability is perfect there, so I can go save, and you can see Jared run. Now, here's the only problem with this is R is before S, so it's going to show Jared Rundle up on the screen here. So there's no way of getting around this. And this is a little bug that people have mentioned. We've talked to ACT about handling this different. So any users in there don't show up on the calendar. They're there, but they don't show up. Unfortunately, we don't have the control, even with our programming, to be able to modify that, at least not yet. However, um, what you can do is just say, meeting with Danny Smith in the regarding line. So I'll just put Danny Smith. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. And in this way, when I press OK, you got plus Jared Rundle. Well, he's part of CoreLogics, but it's with Danny Smith. So that's a way around that. And you should be aware of that, that if you invite someone else in your organization through the availability portion, if they're, it will display the name alphabetically. So if the person's name was Andrews, that will pop up first versus somebody that's like R for Rundle. So just to be aware of that. I'm just going to pause for a second. And Jared, is there any questions that have popped up so far yet?
Yeah, no questions so far. Um, yeah, no, I think it's good. It's too bad, yeah, that they have that user thing where it kind of puts you can't highlight who it's with. I wasn't aware of that particular
Yeah,
glitch with.
and most people aren't, and a lot of
Mhm,
people aren't using the availability piece to pull
mhm,
people in.
yeah,
However, for those who do use that, just be aware of that. That's something that
mm,
hopefully that'll get rectified in the future.
makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. All right. So now we're going to kick it up a little bit more than what I've just shown you. I'm going to take the availability off and take Jared. We'll just do it this way. Just get Jared that way. Boom. Um, so the other thing that I want to show you is in the day manager. I'm going to show you a few extra things, as you can see in this window here. Going to show you a few extra things, like the use banner is a native one in here. So with this one um, with Danny Smith, if I go use banner, press OK, it's going to put Danny up at the top here as well as on the contact record. And if you have an activity that is timeless, and you can have activities that are timeless, like I can do a to do for an example, and I will make it, you see it says timeless right here. I've got this to do set as timeless. So you can choose a specific time or timeless. So usually you have the date, same date, and by default, I've got the to do set up as timeless. Now, what the timeless will do, you'll want to make sure that you set up use banner because it's not going to view on the calendar. So let me show you. So I'm going to have one with Todd Miller. I'm just going to call this test 3, save. So you don't see it on the calendar, but if you look over here, where did I put it? Let me try that again. To do Todd Miller, test 4, no alarm, and it's timeless. And I press OK. What was this? Okay, yeah, I must have hit the wrong button. So there it is right there. You can see it on the list on the side, but it's not on the calendar. So if you want it on the calendar, what you would need to do is make sure you use banner and then press save. And then that will show it up there. You can do up to 5 banner items, and then it won't display anymore because it's only going to allow to expand this little bar so much. So on this bar, you can see up to 5, and then if you've got 7, 8, 9, 10, it'll only show the first 5 in there. Um, And I don't even think if you clear the item, I don't even think that it removes it off the banner. I think it just, yeah, it just crosses it out. Um, so just to be aware of that. All right. Let's go through. Now, with the day manager, I can also click on tentative. So with tentative, this is one we wanted to see because sometimes we get an activity and it's not a hard activity, meaning it hasn't been confirmed. So you're blocking off some time, you're reaching out to somebody, and so you press OK. And what you'll do is you'll see there's a little crosshatch on the right hand side here. I'm just going to turn on. There we are. Just so you can see this a little bit better. So right here, you can see the crosshatch right about there. And so that is the tentative. We also have in here travel time. So if I had to travel to that person's location and it's going to take me 15 minutes, I can press save and that's going to block off a 15-minute travel time. So you can see these little enhancements that we've added through the day manager just to make, if you're using the calendar, take advantage of, okay, this isn't a fixed one, but it's going to take me 15 minutes to get there. All right, that kind of makes sense. Um, and then what we've done is we've added a couple more things in here. So we've got right here shared tasks. Now, every task is going to be shared with somebody or it's going to be scheduled for somebody. So if this, before I get into shared tasks, let's just say this was scheduled for me, but now I'm actually going to schedule this for someone else. And typically, rule of thumb is when you're scheduling with somebody else, you're going to leave it open for that person. You're not going to pick a specific time and let them choose. And so you'd maybe do a timeless activity with an alarm, and then when they go in, when you schedule it for somebody else, it'll just pop up on their screen and then they can choose what time and date. That could be part of your standard operating procedure to be able to, to determine scheduling for others. How will this work? And one of the things that I want to really emphasize, if you're going to be scheduling for someone else, actually, just going to leave this the way it is, and I'm going to schedule an activity. Let's just say for 3 p.m. on today. Now, typically you just use a timeless one, but let's just say it's a call and you're going to call. Let's pick somebody else. Smith. Let's say Fred at Dallas. Okay, so there's Fred. And in the regarding, I'm going to schedule this instead of for myself. By default, it goes to yourself. I'm going to schedule this for Jared. So press OK. So then up here, it says you are scheduling on behalf of Jared Rundle. So what this is when I press a save, it's not, it's kind of like running a relay race and you've got the baton and the guy's coming up behind you. And so you pass the baton to that guy behind you, and now it's his. You're finished. You've done your laps, and you're done. In this case, when I press schedule for someone else and press save, it's not going to alarm me. It's only going to alarm that other person. So I would have a 0 minute alarm saying, I want this to pop up right away. Or if this was timeless, let's just say, let's go with the timeless thing. So this is going to be timeless. It's going to be for Fred. It's going to be for today. And now when I press save, now here's the kicker. And I've seen this with a lot of people where they'll schedule an activity, call Fred, and you need to put in some details. Uh, Call today. Now, um, in the PM, urgent. And if you want more details, you can put see details, go into details, and put a little dialogue of what this is all about. So it's like kind of like taking a message or what have you. And then when you press save, it's not on your calendar. But if I shift over to Jared's, it's going to pop up on his screen. So right there, you can see this. Now it's not popping up on my screen because I'm not Jared, but this little will pop up automatically. And then Jared will go, oh, okay, I'll schedule this in for, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it is. And then he has now a calendar item that will work for him. So all he would have to do is just pop this up and say, okay, I want this at whatever time. Let's move down a little bit. I'm going to do this at 2 o'clock, and then press save. And now he's got a calendar item to call Fred at that particular time. Any questions, Jared?
Nope, no questions. Yeah, I think that's well, a thing that Act doesn't have is yeah, definitely those travel times and just a lot of those extra features. I know, at least with us here in CoreLogics, it's nice to be able to schedule quickly with other people, right? Because
Oh,
I know
geez,
both
yeah.
you and Matt and other people here can get so busy, and so usually I can just throw something in your guys' calendar for you, put a reminder, and there you go. Then it's just less time, less admin work, and you can get other people to help you plan your weeks, especially when you're really busy. So I don't know,
Well, and
some great
especially
improvements.
if you're an assistant, right? If you're an assistant
Hmm.
for somebody,
Hmm.
this is huge stuff. Being able to manage this, and why? I mean, all of the features that we've added in day managers, we, we did it for us. These are
Yes.
productivity things that we're going, okay, this is frustrating. And I've got a bit of ADD. So it's like, okay, this has got to be fast, quick, and I got to be able to get things done. And so all of
Yeah.
these little things that we've added are things that help us out as an organization. So we live and breathe by this. And if there's something new that comes up that we want to be able to track or do, we'll add that in. And we're constantly evaluating how we're doing things. And I'm sure you're the same in your office out there. You're constantly evaluating how can we do things quicker, better, faster, and more effective, more efficient, that sort of thing. And that's when we build these little add-ons or these things that enhance the act experience, we do it so that it can help not only ourselves but our clients as well. All right, let's continue on. All right, so we've got. Excuse me. Oh, there's another button here, and Matt just added this. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. Let's see if it works. Oh, it does. Okay, this is new. I haven't seen this. Um, I'll get to this in a second. This activity series. So in here, we also have shared task. What this does is it schedules it for a inactive contact in or inactive user in the database called shared. And what it does is it allows you to share something so that everybody sees it in a task list, but nobody is totally responsible for it. And then you can change that and say, well, here's a shared task. Somebody grab that, and then they can click on it and change the scheduled for to somebody else. And that's what the shared task is. So if I click on shared, you can see the scheduled for is de-highlighted. So I can't go and schedule this for someone else. That's because it's pushing it to a different person. So I'm going to just put in here. Uh, sure. Let's do a P. I don't know who I've got in here. Let's see. We'll do Smith again. Oh, this isn't working. Something's goofed up. Oh, I found a bug. Let's do that again. Um, so if I go shared task, yeah, okay, I'll leave it that way. If I go shared task and I'll just do test 5, save. And so you don't see it on my screen because it's not specifically for me. But when we go into the task list, you'll actually be able to see that. All right. So let's just go through a couple more little quick things in here, and then we'll show you what that shared task looks like. I'm not going to go into this activity series because I haven't tested it out yet. And I know if you're not familiar with activity series, in Act, it has the ability to create an activity series, meaning a bunch of activities with an anchor point, either before or after in the middle of a specific event. So, case in point, if you were to lease a car, for an example, and the lease was up at a certain date, you could have activities scheduled for 6 months before that date, and then 6 months after that anchor date of when that lease is due. So that's kind of how the activity series. And I've asked Matt to add the activity series in here, but I haven't tested this yet, so I'm not going to show you this. But this would be part of Day Manager as well, I think. Um, and this allows you to initiate an activity series right from here, as opposed to going through up here under schedule and activity series and all the stuff that goes with that. Um, and then the other thing we have in details, I've got two in here. There's two ways of doing this. Typically in Sales Manager, we have objectives. I'm going to call this person, so I'm going to do a quick agenda, and you can list all the stuff that you want from whatever sales processes that you use, and it will just add them into the into the details box, and then you can go ahead and type more stuff in here if you'd like. A second way of doing this is called a quick list, where you choose a specific process, if you will, qualify. And you can choose qualify, go next, and then it will have, you can choose the different stages under that one. And I believe you'll have a choice of using either objectives or quick lists, depending upon which application you're using, whether you're using Day Manager or you're going to be using Sales Rep or the Advisor. We're just kind of hammering, these two types out. Some feedback from you would be great. Which one would you prefer? Just a straight click on it, choose the quick items that you want to access, or would you like to have a quick list where you can drill down, say, oh, I want the demo steps. I want two of those. Press OK or finish, and then maybe you want to go in and add a couple more under qualify, which would be stage 2 and stage 4, and add that to the list, and then it would just add stuff in. So give some feedback. What would you prefer? And I'm just going to press save on that. And then the other thing, and I'm not going into Day Manager because there's a whole video on Day Manager, but there's a thing called reminders where you can set up reminders to send an email out to the client days, weeks, whatever before, hours before, and just remind them that they have an activity scheduled with you, and that's pretty cool. And then the other thing, there's one more thing with Day Manager I'll quickly do before I show you the web version, is we've got time blocks as well. You can actually set up time blocks. So if you're a little ADD like me, again, one of those things that I asked for, you can block off a period of time and say, okay, this is business development time, sales. If somebody calls me today, or say on Monday the 17th, or even today, and says, hey, I'd like to book, can I have a sales meeting on Wednesday with you? And I'll go, no, I've got some time on Tuesday afternoon. Will that work? And then I can book it, and then I can kind of create boundaries of how I'm utilizing my time. And it doesn't mean that you can't schedule something in on a different day. It just gives you some focus where you're actually spending your time, and where you're going to utilize your time and get your head in that space. Because it's sometimes jumping from business development to sales takes a little bit of effort to shift gears in your brain to be able to do that. And same with marketing. Um, and then and then you can set up these things the way you want. But if you're interested in that, there is a video on Day Manager somewhere in our YouTube channel here, if you'd like. All right, Jared, is there any other questions before I jump over to the web version? I think I've covered, for the most part, the basics of doing this, and then you can kind of play around in your own environment on that.
Yeah, no, I think you've covered most of the things. And yeah, I think a lot of these things you just got to figure out what your practice is, like your routine. If it's you or your assistant, okay, I get an appointment, I put it in. I like my reminders to remind me of it in 30 minutes. I know this is somewhere else, so I got to put travel time in. It's just sort of setting up a routine and then sticking to that routine so you can clear and manage all those activities. I think that's a big key for managing activities is have a good routine that you
Yeah,
want set up and how you want to do it in act, and that way you have a history of all that you've done, which is good.
exactly. And wrap it around how you were going to use it.
Yeah, because it's very customizable, which is great.
Absolutely. All right. So now that we've gone through that, I'm just going to quickly, and if you have any questions, for those who maybe are logging on and watching the recording, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to give an email address at the end here where you can actually submit things that you want to see, or maybe you have some questions. You can put it into the same email address. So let me shift gears. I'm going to go over here to my browser. Now, one of the things I want to show you really quickly is under here is you actually have. I think just about everybody now, they're with their renewals, unless your renewal is in November and December, probably have the new Act Advantage, which comes with online calendaring. It just comes with a package. And so this is what it looks like. So for those of you who want to schedule online calendaring items, you can go in and set up your own calendar page, and this directly links to Act, and this will actually put in your activity. So if somebody wanted to book something at 11 o'clock with me on the 17th, they can just click on that. They can put in, oh, I see they got a little bug here. You haven't fixed that yet. Submitted a ticket for that. Anyway, just to make this a little bigger. So it's a call. You can put in the subject details, put in your information, and this will book an appointment with that individual and put it in your calendar and send them out reminders and that sort of stuff. So just beware that you do have, for those who have the Act Advantage now, or those who are coming up to get that, you'll have that ability. Now, the next thing I want to do is just going to go into the web version here. Now, and again, the web version isn't as powerful as the desktop version, uh, but they're getting better and better. And so, for those people that want to work off your phone, this would be the same link that you would go into. Here's the sales rep for those who are using the sales rep. We have a template for that. And so, in here, let's just look up Todd Miller. We go to our calendar, and I forgot to do show the task list in the other one. I'll quickly do. I'll see if we have time. I want to kind of wrap this up before the end of the hour.
Yeah, I like, this is the part I'm excited about our live streams in general, but, the web version, we haven't had a web version of this yet, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah, so the web version, as you can see, I've got my desktop version synchronized with my web version, so you can see the calendar is pretty
Mm,
much the same. Um, Now it probably hasn't synced to the desktop one hasn't synced. I just go over here, and I'm just going to go sync now because you can see we've got
some additional stuff, eh?
some additional stuff. Like if I go back here, it's not going to show that, all the fancy stuff that we did with Day Manager won't show, but I've got this Danny Smith, so I'm just going to press sync, and this is going to do an update, and then we can look at the calendar on the desktop version. So I'm just going to go to contacts. It's the flow of this is a little bit different on the web version than it is on the desktop version. However, for those of you who need to use the web version in a pinch, or maybe that's where you want to spend all your time, totally up to you. Just know that there are limitations on the web version with calendaring and a few other things, but it is a really decent CRM. The web version is a really decent CRM, so you can use both, and I recommend playing around with both, seeing how that works for you. But just because of programming abilities and stuff like that, the desktop version is still going to be more powerful. I got to refresh. Where's my refresh button? There we are. Well, that's interesting. That didn't show up, did it? Jeff Black. Jeff Black didn't show Danny. Oh, I know why. It's because it's tentative.
Yeah,
It doesn't know how to do tentative in the web version. Anyways, it would just sync that across, except it doesn't know what the tentative is. That kind of threw it off. So in here, basically the same thing. Um, Now you'll notice in here, if you got a red status bar like high, medium, low, it's going to show red in there. If it's a green, it's going to show green. You can't have different colors. That's kind of the native for the act. But if you're on Todd Miller's record, so if you go to Todd Miller's record like we did, and then go to my calendar, and I click up here, double click, it's going to pop up a window for scheduling. It's going to link it to Todd Miller and his company. It's got the date and time, right? So it automatically blocks that off. Um, I don't know why they use the word title. They changed some of the naming types here. where this would be regarding, they've got title up here. So obviously, the guys working on the web version and the desktop version are using different protocols. Reoccurrence, so you can set up a reoccurring. You've got invite somebody to this. You can start typing um, the person's name. So this would be a different. See, they've separated the organizer and the person they're inviting in here, but they've got it associated with the person down here. So I'm not sure on this invite. Let's do Lewis here. And it's going to invite that person. Interesting. I've not seen how this works. This is a new feature. They're doing this. They did an update here just, I think it was a week ago, and I haven't played with this yet. Anyways, looks like you can invite somebody else to this same thing. And then you've got your description down here. You can do attachments, high, medium, low, alarm. A little bit of scrolling on here compared to the desktop. Um, but it's not a bad interface and it does a decent job. So I'll press save and there it is ready to go. So that's kind of the basics with that. And then you've got in here, which is nice, they've got the task list in here. Task list is the standard task list that Act's always had. You can add, remove columns in here by clicking on the columns and add whatever you want to see in here, and then be able to filter it by past, today, future. Um, let's go today and future, and filter that any way you kind of wish.
Yeah, I like that you can do that too. Just like you were saying, you can filter to like the week, right? So you're not overwhelmed by all that's coming up because, sometimes that happens, right? When you're working, you're
Y-
like, oh boy, I have so many things to do. And
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to get a screen or a snapshot of what you're focused on, whether it's that day,
yeah.
that week, that month. I like that.
And you can filter by priorities, keywords, and then you can select it by users. And this is all
Mm.
users, so I'm just going to choose Gary here. So it's not a it's a decent calendaring system and task list system. I quite like it. It doesn't allow some of the adjustments to have two calendars in there. There's differences, and it's not a good or a bad or which is better or best. It's just they're different, and the desktop does have more features just because of the ability to do programming, enhanced programming in there. Where this is kind of any kind of web CRM is going to be locked down to a certain degree, right? And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Um, so one of the things I wanted to show you, and this is a beta version right now. So the task list that natively comes with Act is very similar to this task list here. It's just kind of straightforward. Shows your call, meeting, to do, the date, the time, duration, that sort of stuff. You can clear the activity by just checking off the activity. So here's one. Let's just pick. No, I'm not going to pick any of these. I'll do past, change it to past, and choose a past one, 2003. So you just check it off. It pops up. You can put in your, whatever it is you discussed. You can create a follow up activity here, um, or you can just press save, and that one's done and it's off the list. With the desktop version, this is enhanced. So this isn't the exact same way, but the native one is very much like this. The enhanced one that we're working on right now, the beta one that we're working on right now, has some extra features. So we have priority where you can highlight you can see the priority comes up on here. It actually will have a status, so you can actually edit the status of what you want. You can actually edit the labels and add different things in here to be able to track it a little bit different. And this is all from feedback that we've got from other people, including stuff that we've enhanced. So these are my activities. If I wanted to see shared activities, I can click on shared activities and it will just list the shared activities. There's the one that I did with Todd Miller. So any of the team can click on shared and see all the list of stuff that has not been associated to a specific person, but can be viewed by anybody in the team. And that's what shared is. And then we have all tasks, and then we have completed, the ones that were completed on during the current week. So again, you have the specific times you want. And then you've got activity types, show which ones do you want to actually sort by. Overdue, any of their overdue items. And I'm just going to go today and future, actually today and past, sorry, today and past, overdue items. And so there's the, let's take off the cleared. So here's the overdue ones. And then you've got, oh, let's show the high priority ones. So it just gives you some filtering capabilities. Um, and these are toggled, like you turn on, turn off. Some of them are just switch back and forth between. And this allows you to just get a better handle on what it looks like. And this is kind of a newer look and feel as well.
Cool.
I just realized, Jared, that
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff to show in the activity stuff, a lot more than I planned on. Wasn't planning
Yeah.
on doing a whole hour here, but and there's still more stuff that we could actually show, some setup, some setup features and that sort of stuff. So, um,
Hmm.
if you have any questions as you're viewing this as a recording, or if you're live, what you want to do is, let me just pop this up. Pop, 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 pop.
You can leave us some probably, I think, either suggestions for upcoming live stream or questions. Would that be correct with this email address that you're going to show here, Gary?
Yeah, where is the email address?
Yeah, we have a specific email we set up that you can either, if you have something you're trying to, want us to do a whole live stream on, or one thing you want us to do more of a deep dive into, you can give us suggestions, or you can even send us questions to this email address as well. And we can get back to you if it's on a particular stream or just any questions you come across, whether it's something from our website or something from one of our add ons or just general questions, and we can try to answer those for you.
Did I put it over here? Let me just see. Well, I must have deleted it by mistake. Here,
Oh,
let
you
me
didn't
let me
save
just
the
pop it up
banner?
real quick. Let me just add
Okay.
it really quick.
The web handle is showme at corelogix.ca. And that's where you can submit any questions, any sort of requests for upcoming live streams or things you want us to do more uh, deeper dive or more have a live stream on, or you can send it to showme at corelogix.ca.
There we
There we
are.
go. Boom.
Put it down here. There you go. Show me at corelogix.ca. You can use this email address for either saying, "Hey, could you show me?" And this would be an item or a whole live stream that we would do on a specific thing that you would like to see, or maybe it'll be in a combination with some other stuff we do. So if you want us to show you something, go to show me at corelogix.ca, put in your request. If you want more details, if you have any questions that you want us to answer face to face, or maybe not face to face, web browser to web browser, or live stream to live stream, or Zoom,
Yeah.
or whatever, we can make that happen as well. Our whole goal with doing these live streams is to help you take advantage of all the features in the Act software and any of the add-ons that we've added to enhance the experience. Um, the idea here is allowing you to be more productive, effective, and efficient in your usage of the Act CRM system. So, if you have stuff that you'd like to see, or maybe there's a focus that you want us to focus on, let us know. And again, if you need some help, let us know. We can have a call with you and see what we can do to help you out. I don't believe there's any other questions or comments that I've seen.
Nope, not that I've seen either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's about it.
everyone, it is Friday. I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy. Well, hopefully, you got some better weather than us.
Hopefully, you didn't get snow.
And if
Yeah.
not, well, we'll
Oh
be
well.
right with you, drinking hot chocolate and looking outside and wishing it was nicer weather.
True. Very true.
Anyways, thanks, Jared, for your help. Everyone, all the best, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
See ya.